You guys have been wanting me to test this brand out for the longest time, and I finally have my hands on it. Today we'll be reviewing Florasis, specifically their latest collection, Ode to Embroidery. I've been testing everything out for almost the last 2 weeks. I even took all the products with me to LA on my recent trip so I could really get a feel and test everything out before coming back to you guys for a thorough review. And I will say I'm pretty impressed with all the products. So with that being said, I would like to thank Florasis for sponsoring today's video. I'm really excited to showcase their beautiful products to you guys. I think you guys are going to love it as well. So with that being said, we do have a lot of products to talk about today. Let's just go ahead and get started with the review. Let me give you guys a quick breakdown of this collection, Ode to Embroidery. So the whole collection is inspired by Chinese embroidery, which is a big part of Chinese culture. It's a beautiful form of art. They use the orchid embroidery on the packaging, and this represents independence and self-pleasing. You can see the really fine detail on the packaging. It's really stunning. All their products are made with natural ingredients inspired by Chinese traditional medicine. And here is a quick breakdown of the products and what you're going to see in this collection. So first up, we have the Flawless Jade Breathable Long Wear Cushion Foundation. There are 3 different shades and this is $45 USD. It does come with a refill. Then we have the Flawless Jade Breathable Press Powder. This also comes in 3 different shades and this is $42 USD. Then we have some tinted press powders. There are 2 shades and this is $52 USD. Then we have the most beautiful cheek palettes. There are 2 different types and they have the most beautiful embossment and these go for $53 USD. Now there are 3 blushes that go for $28 USD and then also the Gentle Wave Aqua Glow highlighter. This only comes in 1 shade and it also is $28 USD. There are of course other little bundles that you can purchase online to save a bit of money, but I do now have an affiliate code with Florasis, so you can use my name at checkout to save a bit of money. This is going to be my normal code that you can use all year round, but they are having some Black Friday promotions with my special codes that you guys can use as well if you want to purchase anything after watching today's video. I'm going to leave all that info in my description for you guys if you want to use those codes, and I'll have all the links down below as well. Let's talk about the products. These are so beautiful, guys. Like, this packaging is so stunning. There's something so elegant and simple to it that I absolutely love. I will say the only con to it is that everything looks the same, so you can't really differentiate each product unless it's in a different shape. But even with some of the powders, they all come in the same component, so you really do have to flip the product around and then see the color on the back. But nonetheless, the packaging is very beautiful. I can admire that. That being said, let's go through product by product, review them one by one, because we do have a lot to get through. You know, everything is new to me, so these are all new formulas, so I have a lot to break down. So we're gonna start off with the Cushion Foundation. So this is the Flawless Jade Breathable Long Wear Cushion Foundation. It comes in 3 different shades. It does come with a mirror and puff inside, and it also does come with a refill as well. Even though these are a little bit more expensive, you technically are getting like 2 foundations for the price of 1, and for me, I think that is very much worth it, because out of this whole collection, guys, I think this cushion is my absolute favorite. I was so surprised and amazed by the cushion. I really didn't know what to expect, but I feel like I was blown away. I truly think the only con about these cushions is really the shade range, because yes, there are only 3 shades, but within the 3 shades there is not much of a variety here. The gap between all of these shades is very small, and even for someone like me, I would describe my skin tone to be a light to medium. Even these 3 shades I find too light. Typically I go for the 20 or 25, but I use the 30, and I still think the 30 is a little bit too light for me. So truly the only con about this foundation is the shade range. So Florasis, please expand the shade range, because the formula on this truly is so amazing, guys. This is my favorite full coverage cushion foundation. I wore this cushion to 2 concerts. You know, it's a lot of sweating, there's a lot of lights, a lot of jumping. So I wore it to Cold's concert before I left to LA, and then I wore it the day of 17. So we were in VIP, we were standing outside in the sun for the whole day, and then we're ajunicing for the whole night as well. So it was a really long day. And then even after the concert, we got back to the hotel. I met up with a friend and we were chatting till 2 a.m. So I had the cushion on for like, I didn't even know, like 15 hours maybe even longer. I'm not really good at math right now. I was wearing it for a long time and it still looked so amazing. My face looked flawless. For reference, I have oily combination skin, so I have an oily T-zone and then dry under eyes. The coverage on the cushion is absolutely insane. I will go in with the puff that comes inside and I will use this all over, but then I will go in with a more bigger puff, or you could use a sponge to really dab that out and blend it in. I feel like this is going to give you the most flawless finish, and you really don't need a lot of this cushion. The first time I used it, I think I was using N25. It was a lot. I used way too much. You really just need like one little gentle dab. Dab it off on the back of your hand as well. It's gonna go a long way. And I felt like I really didn't need to touch up my makeup. I think the day of 17, when I was wearing it for a really long time, I only touched up once, but I even felt like I didn't even really need to. But I was like, you know, I'm gonna see 17 right now. I need to look matte. But considering how high coverage this is, the way my skin looks absolutely flawless. I love the finish. I love the coverage. It doesn't cling on to any dry patches. It literally looks like I have a filter on. And then when you go on top with all the other powders that I'm going to talk about soon, it's like the perfect flawless combo. And I just keep looking at myself in the mirror because I'm like, girl, my skin looks so good right now. Truly, if anything from this collection that I would recommend the most is this cushion. If you love a high coverage cushion, you will love this. And you guys know, I don't love full coverage. So if I love full coverage, it's a good one. And then onto the next set of products, we have powders. So this is the Flawless Jade Breathable Press Powder. There are 3 different shades, and this is going to help smooth, blur, set your makeup in place. And I also have been loving this as well. Again, paired with the cushion, you are going to get the most flawless blurred filter finish. I'm obsessed, guys. Okay, let me just talk about the formula first. It does come with its own powder puff as well. For the formula, it is more of like a baked formula, so you will know from the touch it's going to be a little bit more sheer and a more lightweight type of formula. I use these powders to set my under eyes and my T-zone, and I think it looks so amazing underneath the eyes because of that lightweight texture. It doesn't look very cakey underneath the eyes, and you know, I have a lot of fine lines, so if I do use a powder that's a little bit too heavy, it's going to enhance those fine lines even more. But I feel like with this powder, because it's so lightweight, it doesn't cling onto any dry patches. It's very comfortable, very light. Like, I think that's the best way to describe it, is that it's just so lightweight. But sometimes I'm scared of these kind of powders because I'm like, is it really gonna set in my makeup and keep me matte? But no, this will lock it in and you will remain matte throughout the day. I haven't really used a lot of like baked setting powders, so I don't really have anything to compare it to, but wow, am I impressed. So let's talk about the 3 shades that it comes in. So we first have number 2. This is the translucent matte. This is going to be the most brightening of the bunch because of that white base. This one is probably my least favorite in terms of the shade because I do like my under eye powders to be a little bit tinted. So here we have lavender, number 4. This one I also really like it too. This is going to give you a more subtle brightening effect. So if you think the white color is too brightening, I think the lavender is a little bit more subtle, but it will still give you that brightening effect. I also really enjoy this one as well. But my favorite would have to be number 6, peach, which I would actually describe it to be more like a pink. This one I used a lot on my trip, and it is the one that I'm currently wearing right now. So it's like a peachy pink. But the reason why I love this shade specifically is because I will always wear like a pink blush. I'm a pink blush girl. So I feel like when I set my under eyes with this pink, it is very subtle, by the way. Like when you see it in the pan, it might look intense, but trust me, the way it translates on the skin, it is very subtle. Because of that subtleness, when I go in with my pink blush, I feel like it just has a better blend around my eyes, you know what I mean? And I love it for that, and the formula as well, obviously. I keep calling it the pink powder, but it's called peach. The peach one is my favorite, and I would definitely recommend this one out of the bunch. And that is just personal preference, but this one I've been obsessed with. And then next up, we still have some more powders, but these are tinted powders. So these are the You Wrong Airbrush Tinted Press Powder. It comes in two different shades, Z20 Cream and Z25 Lotus. They all come with a little puff like this as well. But usually for me, when it comes to tinted powders, I just use a brush. So I haven't used the puffs, but they do seem very soft. But I typically like using tinted pressed powders to set down the rest of my face, kind of like at the outer edges. So to speak about the shades first, I will say quite disappointing. If you look really closely, like yes, there is a difference between the two, but I will say it's just the undertone is different. The actual shade is very similar. There is really no depth in this. I can use both. Really, honestly, they look the same on my skin, just the way I use it with a powder just to set the rest of my face. But I will say this is a really nice thin powder to use. Going to give you a really nice like soft matte finish. You can use this to touch up your makeup throughout the day. This really does just complete my base, like my Florasis base. It just looks so good and flawless. So these two I love, but again, it is the shade range that is really lacking. And then next up, we have their cheek palettes. This is the Eastern Beast Sculpting Makeup Palette. It comes in two different shades, and this is your 4-in-1. We have the contour, blush, and matte highlight and shimmering highlight. And you guys, look at the embossment on these palettes. This is the Florasis I have seen online, because there is just so much 3D embossment detail to it that I literally did not want to tap my brush into this. It's so beautiful, like literally a work of art. But for the first palette, this one is going to be a little bit more warm, a little bit more neutral leaning. If you want that like peachy terracotta cheek look, this is the palette that's gonna cater to you. I love the combo of what you get in here. Like you get the bronzer contour shade, the matte highlight, the shimmering highlight, and the blush. Like that is really a perfect combo. And then for the second palette, this one's actually a lot warmer than the first, but we do have that pink blush and then a shimmery pink gold highlighter. The bronzer is very chocolatey, very warm, and a lot darker. And then the matte highlight is definitely very white. This one is quite pigmented, so go in with a little bit because it is really going to highlight, bring out what you want it to bring out. Really soft, easy to blend out, pigmented. I think it really does come down to the two colors, and truly I want like a mix of both. I love this formula, but I feel like it's hard for me to recommend this one or this one because I love two shades from this and then two shades from this. So from this palette, I would love the contour and the matte highlight. And then from number 2, I love the pink blush and then the shimmery highlight, because I use that shimmery highlight very lightly on top of the matte blush just to give that extra youthful sheen and glow to my cheeks. And I thought it was so pretty because it reflects a little bit gold as well, and I just love that look. So I love the pinks in here, but then I love the contours in number 1. So truly I'm like half and half in both palettes. But if a full-on cheek palette wasn't really your thing, we do have some single pan blushes. These are the Ethereal Flush Smooth Powder Blushes, and these are really cute because they come in a smaller packaging, which is adorable. But there are 3 different shades, and the finish of these I will say is quite matte. They do have like a subtle shimmer sheen to them, but I would say overall to me it leans a little bit more matte. But this formula, you guys, does feel extremely lightweight, and I feel like that is the theme throughout this collection, that everything just feels so lightweight on the skin. Although when you go into the pan, there is going to be a lot of kickback, but once you apply it to the cheeks, it translates a little bit more lighter. It's not straight up pigment right away, so it's a little bit more buildable. You get this really beautiful matte, smooth, blurred look. Favorite shade definitely would have to be this one here, which is number 2, Coral Whisper. This one definitely is the darkest, but it's such a good like mauvey pink, like a daily pink color. But then we have these like 2 lighter shades, which I would probably use for like mid-tone blushing. I would go in with this first like as a base, and then go in with something a little bit darker to really achieve that seamless blended cheek. You don't really see where the blush sort of starts and stops. stops, it kind of all blends together. But I will say that these two are a lot lighter. So we have a number 1 Apricot Milk. This is a really nice like muted peachy tone. And then number 3 Candy Clouds. This one's like a very bubblegum baby pink. I would use this right now just like underneath my eyes to blend and merge all of that together. They don't look patchy or chalky. It just applies so evenly. Like again, I'm just looking at this mirror and just like looking at my face because it looks so smooth. All of these products work so well together. Then we actually come on to the last and final product in the collection, which is their highlighter. This is the Gentle Waves Aqua Glow Highlighter, and it only does come in one shade, number 3 Lilac Haze. And if you guys know me, you know that I personally don't wear highlighter anymore, but if I was going to wear a highlighter, I would prefer the formula to be a little bit more metallic rather than glittery. And this formula is exactly that. It has that really solid metallic base that gives it a high shine. So I am wearing it on my nose just to showcase it to you, but I'm also wearing it as an eyeshadow in my inner corners. You can see the purple is actually very subtle. It kind of reflects a little bit more silver with a purple base, so it's very, very wearable. So you can use this with a brush, you can use it with your finger to touch. It's so buttery and so soft. It's almost putty, like almost so silky. I think that's the most perfect term for it, is that it's very, very silky. It literally looks like you're glowing from within. So if you were to dab this on your cheekbones, it would look so good. Alright you guys, that essentially was the full Ode to Embroidery collection from Florasis. As you can tell, I thoroughly enjoyed everything. I feel like my base has been looking so good. So again, I do want to thank Florasis for sponsoring today's video. If you guys do want to shop any of their products, again, my codes will be down below in the description. That is going to conclude today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching as always. I love you so much, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!